Oh man,
That was that was good.
that was great.
So I think that the big thing here is like this is like literally the first mortgage agent that I think has reached out to us and wanted to chat with us about kind of what he's doing. Like, and he's doing some really cool things that I think that every real estate agent, no matter where they're at in their business, should be thinking about, and even how to approach lenders, because he's a lender himself. And that's I really wanted to unpack that. Like, how should real estate agents approach lenders, build relationships, and he unpacked that for us. What were some of your key takeaways?
I just appreciated the fact that he's out in the public eye. He's on social media. He's on his own webinar that's generating 500 leads a week. This is 3 years in, but imagine if you're a real estate team and you were doing a local webinar for 45 minutes a week on the same topic, or, maybe 4 or 5 topics that you just put in a rotation. So you build one presentation deck and you update it, but you don't have to recreate the wheel on things that are working in your market. And you start educating. You could do like a first-time home buyers. You could do like how to maximize your FSBO, how to maximize your sales, things like, whatever your topics are. So I was just like impressed that he's doing lead gen, he's doing Facebook, or he's doing social media, and he's also doing podcasts and reaching out to people. So I thought that was pretty cool because episode 80, first lender to be on it. And we are geared towards real estate agents. So it's like kind of a no-brainer for him.
Yeah. If you're a real estate agent, you want to figure out how to get in front of more lenders, you're going to want to watch the show. So let's hop into it.
Get famous.
Get famous. You are listening to the #1 real estate podcast in the world, where we talk with real estate professionals about their wins, losses, lessons, and stories, help you win in your local market. Today, my name's Cody from Sheridan Street. I'm joined with my co-host of the Our Agent podcast, Vikram Deol, and the founder of the Real Estate Sales Academy. How you doing, Vic? This is, we've been on a roll today with podcasts. This is podcast number 5 that we're recording today, batching a ton of content, talking to a lot of cool people. How you doing before we intro our guest?
Oh, thank you for asking. I'm doing very good. I feel like my voice has changed a little bit over the day because it is very, very late in afternoon, but everything should be good with a cup of tea, little chai, and a biscuit. How about you, my friend?
Chicken tikka masala.
Oh, let's go chicken tikka. There is Indian spot.
There is. You were saying that you wanted to go there today.
I actually do want to go there today. Maybe we go for dinner.
Maybe we do.
Okay, thank you. Come again.
But who do we have here with us today?
So we have a great guy from he's got an interesting story of how he got into the lending world. But we thought after we've dropped so much knowledge on real estate from agents, maybe we should talk to other professionals outside of the real estate sales game and see kind of what they see successful agents and team leaders doing. So we got Rob Townsley. He is in some part of Toronto area. That's actually the name, Newmarket.
Newmarket. That is the name.
Oh, I thought you were just saying you were new to your market. Well, there you go. You Canadians do things much, much more interesting than Americans. Rob, why don't you give us the highlights of what you do in the real estate game or in the mortgage game, and then we'll jump into some questions and start to grill you about how you're helping agents win and how you are lead genning yourself and how maybe that could help agents in the industry. Yeah, we're super excited to have you here late at, 5 o'clock on a Friday, and you're still cranking out at the office. So clearly that's why you have the silver cup behind you.
That's the soccer cup, but that's fine. That'll work. It'll still work. It's a cups ago. So like I was mentioning, I've been in the business for a long time, almost going on 25 to 30 years. And I kind of learned, being as a mortgage broker, we used to actually sit back and we used to beg agents for deals. Like that was really what it was. And somebody said to me, like, do you want to be, excuse my language, hope I can say this, but do you want to be the real estate agent's bitch? Do you want to be their equal? Or do you want to be their mentor? And I said, you know what? I want to be the mentor. And I went out and started to learn the real estate industry and started generating my own leads. And by doing that, I was able to get those leads, and then I passed them off to real estate agents. So I kind of flipped the script around a little bit. But getting those leads, like I do webinars once a week myself. Like I do stand up, do webinars. I teach people on wealth, how to build wealth. I do it across Canada. So it's not limited to Ontario. So I got a big Alberta market. I got a big market here in obviously Ontario and all the little small towns around it. But a lot of those leads go out to realtors from all those areas, right? And that's how we generate it. And I think it's important that realtors actually do hook up with mortgage brokers, not banks preferably, but get that team around them to create that referral source and get those leads, right? Because we do
that. That is such an interesting flip to the script, especially with like the weekly webinars, because like, and it's always fun chatting with people that share a similar type of ethos towards business, where I'm really big on, and I tell all of our agents that we work with that like right now we are in an education-based market specifically. Like people need education because they don't know what they don't know. Like in the US, there are access to grants and there's access to money out there that people just aren't aware of, specifically real estate agents. So what, I guess, spawned you deciding to make a weekly focus towards doing webinars, and like how many leads are you generating from these weekly webinars, and like what is this doing for your business? Like kind of walk us through kind of the process and then like the results, and where, like how many leads is this generating for you on a weekly basis?
So like on a weekly basis, we get anywhere between 300 to 500 people will actually join in on a webinar or will sign up for the webinar, and that goes into our database.
300 to 500 people?
300 to 500. And then we'll get about 100 to 150 will join the webinar. Out of that, we'll book about 40 to 60, and then we pre-qualify them. And then those pre-qualifies comes down like the numbers game, right? That'll come down to about 20 solid leads and buys that go out every week. And we'll send them out to realtors. And sometimes it's a list. Most cases it's a buy. Some are first-time home buyers. Majority of them are investors going into the market. And you said one key thing here, though, is a lot of them just don't have that education. And we even have realtors that'll jump on the webinar just for the education piece alone, because it's a very niche market. By the way, the investment side, a lot of realtors don't get it right. A lot of mortgage brokers don't get it right. Banks don't get it right. And the reason why is because you have to have the financial background, the tax background, and everything to know how to structure the mortgage properly to get the tax breaks. And we teach people the HELOC, the Smith maneuver, and things like that, and how to really do it. So we get a really big following. And it's been growing and growing too, which is great. Like we've got a massive database. But being that, like I said, as a realtor, get behind that kind of stuff, right? Like learn that niche, teach it, educate it, put it on Facebook, put it on your Instagram. That's what's going to set you aside from everybody else. That's going to, transcend your business. So it's a good start. A lot of leads though.
Yeah, that's a killer amount of registrations. I know that our mentor, Sharon, would just be like, this dude's growing his list by 10,000, 15,000, 8,000 people a year while providing value. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sharon would be jelly right now about that. So that's amazing. So how would you, let's just jump into this. When you start talking to an agent, right? An agent says, hey, Rob, I see your webinar. I see you got 100 people on here. Like, holy crap, that's crazy. You shot me out a referral. Like, thank you so much. I don't know how to lead gen, because filling the funnel, we just got off the mic with Chris Spiker of the Spiker Group. Mm-hmm. He runs 3 teams in 3 different markets, and they know how to fill the funnel. And I know that in Canada and America, it's slightly different, and different markets have, different performance based off of Facebook or Realtor or Zillow or whatever the lead source is, open houses. How would you recommend for an agent to start filling their pipelines, to start filling up their funnels with 500 people a week, right? Like how do you do that? How would you recommend that?
That 500 a week is a pretty big number for most.
Well, even like, if most agents could put 10 in a week, that would be like monumental for them, because they're putting 0 in or 3. Right. So how do you get 10 new registrations a week to real estate agents? Like, how would you recommend it?
Well, put it this way. So I've probably trained really close, probably about 4 real estate agents. Each one of them now, they started off first year in the business, didn't make any money. They were about $50K a year. Now they're up to about 500. The one lady's up to about $750K a year now. Most of that's done through lead gen. And what it really kind of comes down to at the end of the day is, first, you got to pick a lane. How do you want to do it? Do you want to farm your market, like farm your area? So if you live in a small town, maybe you want to become that person. So you need to know how to farm it. Social media, you want to put out education so that you have credibility, so people can trust you. That's all it is. Don't ask for business on social media. right? Really what you want to do is you keep putting out the educational pieces. People will start to follow you and trust you and will come forward to you, right? You're going to get lead gen just from doing that. There's a team out where I am. They're master door knockers. Like you'd think that would be old school, but they generate a ton of leads. They're one of the top teams out here from just door knocking, but that's what they do. The thing is, you have to really be good at it. You have to learn it. You got to be consistent with it. My first webinar was 50 people. Like, it's not like I didn't meet a whole bunch of people in that. Now it's been 3 years. So now I'm getting 300, 400, 500 people. So it's a different niche when you do it. So when I bring these people or bring a realtor in, I want to find out what they're comfortable with. Is it social media? Is it going to be door knocking? And then whatever it is, then let's teach it. Is it open houses? You know, I can go into an open house. If 10 people walk into that open house, I'm walking out with a close, right? It might not be selling the house we're in, but I've booked appointments right after, gone in and sold an investment property to the person, right? And it's just a simple question. And somebody will come in and I'll say to them, hey, do you want to learn how to pay off your mortgage in 10 years? Right. And most of them are usually neighbors of the people who's got the house for sale. And then I'll sit down and present with them and I'll show them how to do it. And next thing you know, they're buying an investment property and they're on track to start doing that. So you know, everybody's a sale down the road or sooner or later, right? Like even my database now, maybe they don't buy tomorrow, but they're going to buy soon. Like they're warm leads. So, you know, you build your database, you find the way that you want to do it. You find your niche, that what you're good at and what you know really, really well, and master it, right? Don't be the general doctor, like be the physician. You know what I mean? And that's where you're going to get your leads from. And people will come to you eventually when you start setting that up.
I love that. I love, you know, choosing something, going all in, learning everything you can about that one specific concept. And, you know, we did that early on with Facebook ads, and then it moved to TikTok ads, and then it moved to YouTube. It's like you become good at one thing and then you can expand from there. When you're talking with real estate agents, because there's so many real estate agents that I speak with that want to create strategic partnerships with lenders, with other, like maybe insurance agents, but they don't know how to build a relationship, and it feels so transactional because they're like, hey, whenever you get a you know, a potential deal, you know, send it my way. Like they don't know how to build a relationship. Yeah. Like,
it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard and it's awkward. Like, what are some ways that, you know, kind of on the other end of the fence, like being a lender, how do you look for realtors to serve your clients? Because you're sending out referrals to realtors, so you're giving them. But like, what if I was a realtor in your local market and I wanted to come to you and I'd say, Rob, like, what would I say to you in order to build that relationship so that you would choose me over another agent?
So I do get agents that come to me all the time, actually, and they say, hey, I want to work with you. You know, I'll work with anybody, but at the end of the day, if you want leads, you have to meet my standards now. I hate to say that, but, you know, before I would just take anybody and anyone. And I want to go through and train them a little bit. Like, so if I'm really specializing in the investment market, like I do you know what to look for? Are you educated enough to talk to the client about? Do you walk into the house and can you spot out some of the things that might be wrong? These are all things that need to be trained. Like some people don't even know, you know, like the 1% rule or, you know, what the Smith maneuver even is. And I can put that question out to a realtor, you know, explain to me the Smith maneuver. And if they can't explain it to me, then I'll turn to them and say, you're not ready to be in the investment market. Like, you're not even taught yourself anything yet. So you either need to learn it or come in and have me coach you, or one or the other. The other thing is that I look at their social media, and if their social media is not professional, and you will usually tell them, clean it up, or I'm going to drop you right off the bat, because I will not refer an agent out to somebody that's got bikini pics or, you know, advertising Club Med or doing stuff like that, which is really unfortunate in this industry. And that's what they do. They need to be professional, and it has to look good, has to look clean. Their spouse has to look clean, because people are going to search them out. People come to me, they've never met me before. They're going to go right into my Facebook, my Instagram, my website, and they're going to check out what I've done and what I have to say. If I've got pictures of me in a bathing suit walking around with a drink in my hand, I'm probably not going to get the business. I lost my credibility, right? So, and real estate agents need to understand that if somebody's checking you out, you don't have the sale yet, but the chances are you might not ever get the sale either if your social media is not clean. right? So you either got to keep it separate or, definitely keep it clean, right? Good post, but don't put anything raunchy on there or something that's bad. Like I said, I always joke around the Club Med thing because it seems to be the common with a lot of them right now, right? But you just have to do it in a certain way. So if they want to come to me, they have to meet that standard and be professional. And believe it or not, that'll knock out probably a good 80% of agents right off the top. You want to get in with a financial planner? I will say this, there's no financial planner, no insurance guy, no mortgage broker out there that will not work with an agent, right? Like these mortgage brokers are starving. They want the business just as bad as you. Sit down and have a conversation, say, how can we do this together? How can we grow it? What are you good at? How can we lead gen together? Most mortgage brokers will even put money into your business to get it growing. It's like don't be afraid to ask, right? Like it's there. So, and I've done that with people. Agent Locator, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. We've used that quite a bit. I've actually paid for a year of Agent Locator for realtors to get them off the ground and get leads, right? It's just those leads need to come back to me too. So I'll do that. Use some of your leads. I'll pay for this. Here's your bonus. We'll give you a try, right? It's a little stuff like that. But
when it comes to what you're seeing in successful agents right now, right? Because you work with a lot of different agents, and obviously your niche is investors, it sounds like. But when you look at the agents that are in your database that are coming to top of mind right now that are successful, what are those agents doing?
Well, for starters, they're putting in at least 40 hours a week. They're working nights, they're working weekends. So if most, they're not, some agents will do 10 hours a week and wonder why they're not getting the business. Communication, 100%. So they're out, they're always working the database. They're always communicating with them. They're on Facebook, even trying to generate leads. Another thing I've always done, as I said, make 10 friends on Facebook every day, right? That's your database in one way too, right? Like you just friend 10 people. 10 people look familiar that are in your market, your age group. You want to deal with first-time home buyers? Start friending a whole bunch of 25 to 35-year-olds, right? Like chances are it's there. You can create your own first-time home buyers Facebook group and post on it and have people come in. Give out a $5 Tim Hortons card for anybody that wants to join in or invite a friend, little things like that. It's a cheap way to market it. And you can now create that group. And I've done that before and kicked out 30 leads just from using a Facebook group.
I had a friend that did that a long time ago. He would reach out, right? He had a VA. They would reach out to five people a day. They would offer some sort of Starbucks or some, cheap $5 thing. But they would they would start creating the relationship like, hey, we're not trying to sell you anything. We just offer a lot of free knowledge in this group. If you join, we throw you out a $5 gift card. And if you ever have, any real estate questions, you can post them here and our agents will answer them for you. So it's a very low pressure, super easy. And they get to build their database, and they were plucking deals out left and right. After about a year of it,
exactly. It's a long-term game plan, but
yeah,
you're a brand new agent, this feeds your,
you got nothing but time.
Yeah.
Right. It's, friend these guys and, and I understand a lot of the 25 to 35, maybe it's not Facebook or it's Instagram or it's whatever, but you just got to get yourself out there and friend. Like I said, it's 5-10 people a day. It takes 15 minutes. Yep. You move on into the next thing. And that's how you build your market. It's 3 years ago, I probably have 50 people on my Facebook. Now I don't even know what's on there now. Couldn't even tell you. Right. But it's
tons of people,
lots more.
There's a ton of bad information out there. And that was kind of the realization that we had. We were at an event, a NARREP event, probably last October. And there was a bunch of mortgage lenders and loan officers in the room, and they were presenting and talking about different accesses to grants and access to loans and money in the market that's available based on different counties. Where do you find good information, and where can real estate agents find good information in order to help the first-time home buyer, in order to help the investor, in order to understand different investment strategies? where would you direct them in order to get good information? Because it was really interesting at this event. They were saying like the vast majority of people based on demographic or based on ethnicity get their information mainly from friends and family, but the information they're getting is terrible information. Like they were saying the vast majority of people think they need 20% down to buy a home, and that's just what they think. That's because that's what their uncle told them. So how do real estate agents combat shitty information that's out there with the media? Because the media is like, they're really, you as a lender and real estate agents go up. You're like, I say this to Vic all the time. I'm like, really, what we're doing right now is we're going up against media saying that interest rates are rising and therefore you shouldn't buy. Now's a terrible time. I hear tons of people say now's a terrible time to get an investment property in Canada. But that's not necessarily true. Like, where do you find your information so that you're able to eloquently explain to the consumer whether they should or shouldn't buy right now?
Well, I assuming you guys are in the U.S., so I do follow Canadian and U.S. market, kind of going both ways, and what's going on in the economy. Back in the financial degree does help me out a little bit, that knowing the economics of what's going on. But if I was a realtor, especially starting out, like I would go on, like in Canada, as an example, you can go on the insurer's website, so go on CMHC or CGAN, Canada Guarantee. They have a lot of information that's up there that talks about those programs, like first-time home buyer programs, new to Canada. There's tons of them out there. Where to think, second homes. Like, that's a great starting point. It doesn't necessarily mean that's every lender. That's just insured products, but it definitely gets your information out there. Now, there's also alternate lending and private. That you'd have to go to a mortgage broker to get that kind of information that they can feed. And hopefully that mortgage broker knows what he's talking about, because we have to feed on that information also. A lot of the content that a lot of my realtors even post, before they post it, they'll actually come to me and for accuracy and say, is this right? Because I've even had one take something off a government website and the information wasn't correct. So, it was kind of I'm like, well, there goes your government website for something that was out of date and not accurate. And they're the one that changed the rule, and yet their website wasn't even correct. So you do want to verify your information. And I'm going to say, there's two things: U.S. market, Canadian market. A lot of Canadians, we tend to jump on U.S. news and then repost it in the Canadian market, and then that information is not accurate. So, read the article. I've even had real estate agents post articles that might have been 2-3 years old. And I'm like, look at the date of when that was written before you start posting it. Right? Like, it's like that those are careless mistakes that you really got to look into. And even here, US does a rate increase, and all of a sudden I'll see a Canadian realtor post up there, rates are going up. And I'm like, no, rates are going up on the other side of the border. You're not going up here. Stop putting the news out. And you know what? If real estate agents really want to do yourself a favor, I will say this: keep away from the negative news, right? Because that media is really hurting the market in its own way. And a lot of that information is not even accurate, or it's skewed because, hey, our market's down 20% from last year. Yeah, it's down 20% because last year was the peak in the market at the highest point. Of course it's down 20%. It's not down from 2 years ago, right? We're still in a very strong, healthy market. So,
well, it's know your facts is what you're saying. It's know your facts.
And don't
do the research. Don't just, and just don't keep feeding the negativity bear. Rob, this was super cool. If people wanted to reach out to you, if an agent wanted to reach out to you, if anybody wanted to reach out to you to learn what you do, get on your webinar, get on your list, get your emails, get your feed, where would you send them?
So, well, two ways you can go. So I have the website up. You can always pick up a webinar there. You can register in. We usually list them a month and a half in advance. That's www.townsley.ca. So pretty easy. Or if you want to just email me, it's rob@townsley.ca. So rob.townsley.ca. And then just email me out, and I'd be more than happy to have a chat, and we can book a Zoom call, do anything like that, see how we can get your business growing.
I got to give you props for finding us as well, because you guys, this is a lead gen education moment, right? Because you're going to be out in front. There's not a lot of mortgage professionals that reach. I think this is the first one. Yeah. So this is episode number 75 or 80 that we've recorded. And you're the first person who's actually reached out and said, hey, this is a podcast for real estate agents. I'm in the lending industry. Maybe I would be a good fit to educate these people. So I got to give you props. And agents, you guys should be on webinars. You guys should be on podcasts. You guys should be dropping knowledge because there are local podcasts and there are regional podcasts as well, because every area has somebody who wants to talk about their area. Get on their shows. So good job to you, Rob. And then I know Cody's going to wrap us up here.
Yeah, Rob, bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you so much for just sharing so much knowledge about how real estate agents can really do some cool things in their market. And like, I love the webinar idea. It's something that I've been like really pushing our agents to do. So I love the fact that you're so dedicated towards educating the market in such a way. And it's, it's clearly, paid off tenfold for you. So I want to say thank you. And I want to say thank you for tuning into another episode of the RE Agent Podcast, the #1 real estate podcast in the world. See you soon.